Welcome to the Research Culture Uncovered podcast, where in every episode we explore what is research culture and what should it be. You'll hear thoughts and opinions from a range of contributors to help you change research culture into what you want it to be.
Welcome to another episode of the Research Culture Uncovered podcast. My name is Ruth Winden. I'm the Careers with Research consultant at the University of Leeds, and I'm here with my wonderful colleague, Rachael Clark. Welcome, Rachael.
My name is Rachael Clark, and I'm a project officer in the Digital Culture and Development team within Organisation and Professional Development, and we're in the same team, aren't we, Ruth? And my main focus is on building digital capabilities with our staff community, and my primary kind of key focus for the last kind of 5 years has been leading on having LinkedIn Learning as a full campus subscription at Leeds here, and supporting staff to use it for their role, but also for their professional development. And with that, I promote the platform to researchers and students sort of wide, and built a real strong love of the platform, but also with LinkedIn, hence why we're here to discuss.
Exactly. And Rachael is so knowledgeable about LinkedIn Learning, and now the whole platform LinkedIn, and we'll explain a little bit how that has come. But Rachael and I, we've worked together on this project, Career Catalyst, which is our digital career management program for our researcher community. Rachael and I, we have worked together on this for a year in development, and then we've run it 3 times with a cohort of 50 people. And originally, our wonderful colleague Tony Bromley was also with us. And Tony is now enjoying his retirement, but Rachael and I, we carried on because we love the program so much, and we put so much effort into bringing it to life. And yes, we've now had 150 people go through it, and it's our researcher community. So we go very broad, and I explain why that matters to research culture. So we invite research technicians, postgraduate researchers, postdocs, lecturers, senior lecturers, and we even had associate lecturers and professors, associate professors with us this time in the last round. And every year we run it once, and it has 50 participants, and they come from all walks of life, Rachael, don't they? So all the different subject matter areas, different stages of their careers, different roles. And when Tony, Rachael, and I originally planned the program, we did this deliberately because we wanted to bring people together and build a more cohesive feeling across the university, learn from each other, and help them embrace LinkedIn Learning and LinkedIn. And Career Catalyst was born, wasn't it, Rachael? Do you want to say a little bit about, what you find so interesting about the program from your perspective?
Absolutely, yeah. So I think when we started, myself and Tony and you, we all had this real passion for, we love LinkedIn Learning, and Tony with his idea of dynamic development, which was kind of allowing people to take ownership of their professional development. Those tools within LinkedIn Learning that are hidden, we wanted to allow people to be able to tap into them and then take that forward in their careers. So we really knew what we wanted. We just weren't quite sure how to put it together in a program. And we also wanted, like you said, we wanted to keep it open for everyone because it is quite a broad topic. And we knew, I think, from the onset that having that mixed sort of participants would help each other. And that's become one of the real key value points, I think, in the program, is that, if you are a PGR in there and you've got an associate professor who's sharing some of their concerns about going, online, that's only going to help and support you and think that these concerns are valid, but I can push through them and get through them. So that's, I think, one of the key areas. And I think it's, reflecting back on, when we first started, when we, were planning it, Ruth, we really were going to have this as an online self-paced program, and our involvement after the pilot was going to be very minimal. We weren't really going to be involved in it, and we only planned in these kind of live touch sections so that we could gauge people's sort of understanding of our kind of self-paced materials. But actually, that is one of the key parts of the program, and I think that's why people do progress and come to it, is because they get so much from those live sessions, being able to share with other people and gain our knowledge is really crucial part of it. So I don't think we could ever have it as a self-paced online version now.
Yeah, and I think it's been interesting. We planned it very carefully and we wanted it to be modular. So it's a long program. We start normally once a year in November and runs all the way through to March. And there's certain sections to it. And yes, of course, we deal with, the LinkedIn profile and we give that a lot of attention. But then we go through all the different aspects because Rachael and I, we were very passionate about, people understanding there is a lot more to LinkedIn than they think. They often think, oh, yeah, it's a place where I upload my CV, and far from it. So I obviously come from the career strategist point of view. I've been on LinkedIn since the old days when you had to get invited, and that's a long, long, long time ago. And I've trained in using LinkedIn as a career management tool. Rachael is our superstar on LinkedIn Learning, but now she does it all because we came from different angles, didn't we, Rachael? And do you want to just share all the different aspects that we do on the program? Because there is a reason why it's long, because there are so many aspects, aren't there, Rachael? And yes, originally we had said, let's do it in a way that people can do it independently of us. But we quickly realized, yes, we've given them very in-depth materials and clear instructions, lots of examples, but actually there is so much that they have to discuss and explore and get support for. So I'm so glad that, yes, we developed all these independent learning materials, but they go after, they read the materials and then we come together all online and they go through the different modules. So Rachael, share the breadth of our program. We're so proud of this, aren't we? Because it's pretty intense, let's put it that way.
Absolutely, yeah. So so that we say we have these different sections or topics, whatever we like to call them. So we've got 7 that we identified very early on, and obviously profile is one of them. That's one of the first ones that we go through. So I'll just list them all, shall we? So we start off with profile, and again, that's the foundation. That's the one that people come to when they're really interested in. But then we do, in the early session, we kind of say we want you to stick to it. And LinkedIn profile, you don't just do it in one day and that's it. It's very much, and that's why we've planned the program the way it is. We kind of drip feed along the way, and people don't have the time to just sit for 2 days and work on a LinkedIn profile. So the way it's been structured is that people can just dip in and out as they can, and hopefully by the end of it they'll have a fantastic profile. So we start off with the profile, and I think quite this year we've adapted it because the profile is such a massive section. And what I probably should say is, so the way that the whole program runs is that we have these 7 sections. We have our first introduction session where we share them what the program's about, and then we release the first module, shall we say, which would be profile for the first one. We again give them 2 weeks to go away and do the online learning materials that we have put together. They are very detailed. They have everything they need to know in them. But again, it's just that having that sense check and that discussion point where after the end of those 2 weeks, we then have a live session where Ruth and I will either pick up on the key aspects or maybe do a quick demo. And then it's very much the opportunity for the participants to share or ask questions, concerns, and we all discuss together. And then at the end of that session, we will release the next module. So then we've got another 2 weeks. I should say that we do have quite a large break over the Christmas period, and then we're straight back into it. And that's how the program comes to then an end with a celebration. And we do some lovely competitions that we'll touch on later. But the other elements, so we start off with profile, which we've actually broken down into 2 parts now because it is so long, and I think that's a real benefit. So actually the participants now have a month to work on the profile, and because that is the largest section, I think that works really well this year, and it kind of eases them into it. We then do a session on learning, so that's all about LinkedIn learning, how they can feel confident navigating the platform and finding all the different tools, features, the professional certificates to allow them to build the skills they need. Then we move into visibility. Now, this is all about having the confidence to go out there when they have their LinkedIn profile to make themselves visible by doing those posts, commenting on people's posts, and kind of helping them build that kind of personal brand. Then we move on to what we call the My Network. So that's how they actually build their network. So the different strategies that there are to doing that, and the sort of the good practice ways. And then we bring in what we call the alumni function. So this is something that's very hidden and not many people know about it, but it's so valuable to being able to look at different careers that people in similar roles have. So again, that's another section. And then our final two are job search. So we look at the different techniques you can use for searching, applying, and even some of the more hidden techniques that Ruth always managed to identify. And then we finish off with insights. So looking at that kind of the different insights available on the platform from the massive data pool that LinkedIn has, and looking at the kind of different career transitions that people in roles can have, that all comes together in that final piece. And then at the very end, we ask people to put themselves forward for competitions. And our very last session is showcasing the people who have won those competitions, but we use that as a learning experience as well. So we bring in the fantastic work that they've done on their profiles, and everyone learns together, and it's a real lovely celebration, which I absolutely love it, don't we, Ruth? We can't wait till the end.
Yeah, it's always our favorite. And as a treat for you, our listener, we actually asked 5 of our award winners to give us little snippets of wisdom, having gone through 5 months of this program. So during our episode, we will give you their direct voices and what they've said to us. And maybe we could actually start with one of them straight away. And I am thinking of Johanna Knebel. She is a postgraduate researcher here at the university. And she found it very interesting and helpful in building her profile, especially because her research topic is very sensitive. So she had to be very careful how to bring her expertise across. And she's given us a wonderful short summary of what the program meant to her.
My name is Johanna, and I'm a second-year PGR in the School of Sociology and Social Policy. And I took part in the Career Catalyst program 2024-25, despite not being very active on other social media channels. So I think I'm very proud of myself that I pulled out the profile as it is now. And what I kind of really enjoy is that it gives me a solid basis to connect with people, because I'm really proud of how the profile looks and kind of what it showcases about my work. So my network is much bigger now than when I started off. People come to my profile, especially when I myself am more active on LinkedIn, but I'm also like really looking forward to like going to conferences this year, and kind of to use this profile to connect with other people. So yeah, it gives me a really like solid basis to connect with people. And I think what kind of I really enjoyed was when also kind of senior people kind of came to my profile and asked me to connect with them when kind of we had like overlaps in our work and stuff by this. So I really recommended the program. I really enjoyed it. I think it's a great platform to share my work, which I certainly could do even more, but the foundation is there now.
We also have an observation from Anna Tang, a postdoctoral researcher in molecular and cellular biology. One of the highlights for Anna was to create a well-branded profile that is a true reflection of her expertise and approach, rather than just a copy of her CV. Here is what Hannah has to say.
I used to think that LinkedIn was just an online CV, but the Career Catalyst course helped me realise it's so much more. The language you use and the content you share all play a role in building your personal brand, showcasing what you can actually do far beyond just your job title. One of the first steps I took was to improve my LinkedIn headline. By incorporating keywords related to my field of interest, this helped attract more relevant connections, ensuring my homepage content was more aligned to my chosen profession.
So I think one thing that also strikes me, Rachel, is you and I, we very much care about our 50 participants. It's a big group, admittedly, but we really want to get to know them, and they can always come to us. So we have a team space where we put all the materials, and they can come in, they can always ask us questions, because LinkedIn, as you say, becomes so complex. There's so many different aspects to it, and it can be very overwhelming. And one thing that we developed, especially as we learn every year, we improve it. This year, we had very strong indication that people struggled with the not the profile itself, but how do you pluck up the courage and actually become visible on this platform? Because the mere thought of it's a professional platform. It's not what they're used to, because they're so familiar with their research platforms and their academic networks. So how do you do this on a professional platform online with 1 billion users worldwide? That is really intimidating, isn't it, Rachel? So we actually wrote a specific piece of learning material this time, and that really did a deep dive into what to think about going online for the first time to such a big platform, how to really overcome those hesitations and those worries. And again, we have wonderful thoughts on this, and you will hear more from our colleagues here. And maybe this is a time for Franja Prosenc to come in, and she's a postdoc, and she talks about the visibility piece.
Hi, Ruth and Rachel. Thank you so much for inviting me to contribute this voice note to the Research Culture Uncovered podcast. Here are some of my thoughts about the Career Catalyst program. I was pretty active on LinkedIn before I joined the Career Catalyst program. However, the platform is getting increasingly more complex with more things to offer, and I just wasn't keeping up to date with everything it has to offer. I thought my profile was quite good before. At some point, when I was very active in the job search, I even hired a professional CV writer who improved my LinkedIn profile. However, what we covered in the program was next level. For example, I had no idea about the featured section of the profile, where the posts you're extra proud of can remain visible for as long as you keep them there. I also had no idea that by not having recommendations on your profile, you don't get as high in the search results. Additionally, I learned heaps of other useful things in the program, such as tricks for job search, finding connections or people of interest through alumni, and LinkedIn Learning, which has so much to offer. I'm looking forward to using all these useful features in the future when I'm looking for a new job. I learned a lot, so thank you very, very much for this wonderful program.
To Rachel and me, it's really important that we are approachable, the information is accessible, it's inclusive. So all the things that really matter to us, and being good colleagues, being collegiate, and being collaborative. And so that's how we've approached the whole program, including the team space. And Rachel is the wizard here, so I'm handing over to Rachel now. Explain how do we create this online, this really strong and supportive community that we're so keen to create every year when we work with our researcher community.
Yeah, absolutely. So to keep it inclusive and flexible for everyone, and to keep it easy, basically, so that we can all navigate where everything is, we have a team space for the cohort. So every year has a new team space. We invite everyone in when they are accepted onto the program. That's where we share all of the online learning resources. So like I say, we release them every 2 weeks. So they are posted in our team space in various channels so people can easily navigate to them. But because we have these 50 cohort every year, and we know, because of the nature of everyone's roles, not everyone can make these live sessions, which we know are so important. It was really key right from the beginning that we recorded every session. So as well as having these online self-paced resources that everyone has so they can work through, they can also all access the online live session. So even though they can't actively participate in it, they will get the benefit from what we've discussed in those sessions. So quite often we've had research technicians who can't get out of the laboratory at that particular time that we've scheduled our live session, or we have had a participant in the last year who actually joined from in a different country. So it actually allowed them to participate in the program, which they wouldn't have been able to otherwise. And they tried to join the live sessions when they could, but if not, they knew that they would still be able to access that recording after. And then also in the team space, we really encourage people to connect with us, ask questions in between those live sessions. So like I say, we've got that 2-week period where people can ask anything, particularly about the profile. When people are struggling, they can come and tag myself and Ruth. We will come back to them. And I think we also have this open offer where if anyone wants feedback on the profile, they can come to either me and Ruth, and we will give them very detailed feedback on how they can just tweak the profile. Often it's not much that needs, just a bit like add this here, that there, and that just takes the profile to the next level. And although the program isn't just about the LinkedIn profile, we do really want people to have that fantastic standout profile, so then they can start using these other techniques when they are reaching out by the end of the program, so that when people are coming and connecting with them, we want them to feel proud. And I think that's what some of our lovely participants have said in the voice notes that they've sent through to us, is that actually by the end of the program they've got the confidence, but they actually look at the profile and they feel proud about it, and that just boosts them if they are going to a conference or connecting with people, that they can happily direct people to their LinkedIn profile.
Rachel, that's so beautiful. And you can just feel the sense of pride in them getting towards the end of the program. And another thing I really enjoy is making collegiate and helping each other thrive. So what Rachel and I are really keen on, and when Tony was with us, he was obviously also of that nature. This is a very supportive, constructive space, and we all gain when we support each other. And it's wonderful also to see some of our very senior academics very active on LinkedIn, and we can point them out as role models, because we have some academics like Kath Noakes, who's always so incredibly good at lifting people up and celebrating success. And we actually had one PGR who used the program not only to build, her knowledge of LinkedIn, but she actually finished her PhD in that time. And so she challenged herself to write a post about, passing her Viva and getting her PhD. And she actually won our prize because the post, for visibility, because the post that she created, and that is Nena Arikpomu, and we'll give you her contribution as well in a second. Nena created this beautiful post, and she got so many responses to this, and it was so nice to see, yes, I achieved my PhD and look how I'm being celebrated. And that really helped her also, feel even prouder of it. And then other people came together from the program and supported them and each other, and I think that's the beauty. So let's listen to Nena Arikpomu and her thoughts on what she got from the program.
I really enjoyed the Career Catalyst program. I never knew that LinkedIn and LinkedIn Learning had so many overlooked features. The program was very engaging and interactive. It was that motivation I needed to explore all that LinkedIn has to offer, and I really, really enjoyed the experience. Thanks again, Ruth and Rachael, and thanks for the award as well.
So yeah, just a little side note from that lovely quote that we've had from Nina. In one of the live sessions that we had, Nina actually, before she'd posted this, she discussed it with us, and she was very a little bit, I wouldn't say overly worried, but a little bit concerned about going live and posting that. And within the cohort, it wasn't just Ruth and I, it was our lovely cohort who really said, yes, go ahead, you should feel the confidence to do that. And then we had the lovely post come through, because I think we were connected and we saw it, and the fantastic responses that she had was really lovely to see. And she actually won one of the awards for that fantastic post. And so I think that's just a real nice example of how those live sessions and the community aspects really supported her to feel like she could post that. And actually, if she hadn't been in that space, she might never have done that post, even though she had a lot of our participants say, oh, I've had a LinkedIn profile for a while, but I just didn't know or how to start being visible. So I think it's just that discussion and giving each other a little push, because it is scary to put yourself out there in what is a professional world. People feel like they, bringing in that kind of imposter syndrome, feeling like I shouldn't be in this world, even though they completely should be. So I think that's a nice example.
And Rachel, can I just come into that? Because for me, I've been on this platform for so long. I'm a social career media strategist. For me, there's a second nature now. And also, you and I, we're good at censoring ourselves. We don't just press the button. We think about what we post. And it's so easy for people like you and me to forget how scary it actually is to go out there, with your research, putting yourself out there. And having the group behind you and encouraging each other, I think, made such a difference. Also, getting the positive responses. And yes, some of us didn't get the big responses, but you have to start somewhere. When I look back when I started out, I didn't get anyone to look at it. We're also worried about millions of people looking. I mean, the reality is when you start out on LinkedIn and you don't have a big network yet, people will probably not even see it, or not that many people. But it's slowly and steadily, and then helping people pluck up the courage, and they understand how to do it. They know how to do it well. We give them plenty of examples and encouragement and successes from previous participants. And then they started. And now you see them all over LinkedIn. It's just brilliant. And what makes me so happy is that, some of our participants saying, I got so many visits to my profile. I never had that before. Suddenly, I have all these people reaching out to me, wanting to talk to me about my research. I have people commenting. I have people engaging with me. And that is just a dream true, isn't it? Because they do such interesting research. They have such important roles to support research. There's such important lecturers and associate professors that we have on the program. They need to be out there, and they want to show the whole wide world on LinkedIn and beyond if you put the right settings in. That's who I am. This is what I stand for. This is what I work on. And yeah, getting that engagement that we're so keen on. Yeah. And Rachel, I mean, you're our wizard when it comes to the prizes, because early on, Rachel and I thought, we need to give people an incentive. It's a big group. We see them every couple of weeks online. It runs from November to March. That is a long program. So how do we keep people engaged and motivated? And I think the team space was one of the ways that we did it, because we can communicate with them. But then, Rachel, like we do like dangling a carrot in front of them, don't we? We don't use sticks. We don't need sticks for this program. We dangle a carrot in front of them. Tell us more about the carrots and the dangling and what we do with the incentives. How do we get them to stick with us until the end?
Absolutely, yeah. So we're quite, playing with it. We tell them right in the first session that there will be prizes for people, because we want them to be engaged and we want them to push through it. But I think the way that we structured the prizes specifically were around the areas that we know that people struggle with. So what people don't want to do. So the prizes are there, or the carrot, to really push people to do the areas that they don't. So we've got 3 prizes, and I think we're going to make another one next year. So the first prize is the most improved profile. So we ask people, a couple of weeks before the end, when we know that they've got these fantastic profiles, they've had the feedback, to put themselves forward for that. And, it is quite stiff competition now. It was really difficult this year because people had got such high standards, but we were quite to the books, and we wanted people to have every single aspect that we've covered to win the prize. So that's really pushes people to make sure that they've sort of ticked every single box. So they've got the feature, they've got the fantastic headline, they've got a final at least 2 recommendations on their profile to finish it off. So that is one of the prizes, and that's usually the toughest one for us to choose. And we made 2 extra prizes this year because it was so tough. The second one is all around the visibility. So it's the most visibility through a visibility post. And again, we know that this is something that people worry about, are concerned with. So we wanted to have this prize, so it really pushes them in those last couple of weeks to put a visibility post out there. And like I say, it doesn't matter. We had some fantastic ones that didn't get that much engagement, but they were well crafted. And because they didn't have such a big network, maybe they didn't have that much engagement. But going forward, we know that they've got the tools to do it. So it's all about having that mindset and just to give them that extra push to actually do one so that they can put it forward into the competition. And again, like I said, Nina was our winner this year, and I think she had over 200 people engaging with it, 70 comments. It was fantastic. And then the final one, and again, this is probably the one that people struggle with the most, which is asking for a recommendation on their profile. And like I said, that we know that people need to have at least 2 to finish off their LinkedIn profile. And we have lots of discussions about it, why people don't want to, why it doesn't come naturally to people. And hopefully, I mean, it worked this year, because I think the winner
Absolutely.
had 4, which is the most we've ever had. And they do have to be sought within the time period of the program, so they can't be old ones. But yeah, it's just to encourage people to ask those things that you don't want to do. And again, we say, it doesn't have to be someone who's senior to you. It could be just a colleague. It could be a supplier. It could be someone who works with you on a project a couple of years ago. So we give them lots of different examples. And this year, I think, we've had the most people push themselves to get those recommendations. And I think we had a lot of lovely discussions in the team space and in our in-person session that we did, just saying, what's the worst that could happen? They're just going to say no, and then you go on to someone else. So it's really not as scary. And I think everyone who did it got a fantastic recommendation. And actually, what someone else writes about you is so much nicer than what you would ever put about yourself. So I think they all were quite chuffed in the end with those lovely feedback that they got. So yeah, that's the reason why we put the competitions in. But like we said, it's also lovely at the end to be able to then showcase the posts that people have put, the fantastic profiles that they've all put together, and the recommendations. So we bring that all together in the last session, and we look at everyone. So even if they're not prize winners, we bring everyone's together who's put lots and lots of effort in, just to showcase. And those people who are in the cohort who maybe are behind, what we hope is that will just inspire them to carry on afterwards, because they've still got all the online resources. They can continue doing that after the program.
Absolutely. And it's such a lovely celebration. And we know the recommendations seem to be that big barrier, but that's why we put an award in, and it's wonderful to see. So the deadline approaches. We always want to deadlines, and suddenly the flurries of entries are coming in. And with the recommendations, they were so high quality, because we do spend time on the program explaining what is a good recommendation, a meaningful one, and one that is not worth having, and really teaching people very proactively how to think about strategically who to ask, what to ask them for, so they get a good quality recommendation. Yeah, it's been so much fun, and it was wonderful to see everyone was so happy, even if they put themselves forward and didn't win. They learned a lot, because Rachel and I then spent time explaining why people won or came second. And so there is a lot of learning, but there's also a lot of celebration. And when you do these things online, everyone had the reactions and the love hearts and the thumbs ups and all this kind of stuff. And it was really, really joyful. So that was wonderful. Yes, so altogether, it is a big program. And you will be forgiven for thinking, oh my word, that sounds like a lot of work. And I think we've learned our lessons over the years. I remember in the first year, we were so enthusiastic. My word, did we give people so much feedback, written feedback, and it was not sustainable. So now we do it slightly differently, but people still get individual feedback, and they learn from each other. And I think it's become a well-oiled machine,
Absolutely.
if I may say so, Rachel.
Absolutely. We've done the work. I think putting the resources together initially was where the hard work was. So building those online learning materials, because there's 7, that was the main chunk of the work. We do regularly update them, so every summer we go through and make sure that they're still up to date. Obviously with LinkedIn and LinkedIn Learning, it changes, every year. We do have to tweak it, but now since we put that time in, it's not as onerous every year. It's just tweaking it, and then
LinkedIn never stands still. And I just heard, Rachel, that, and I saw it myself. I thought, what's happened to the alumni function? So there's some changes that LinkedIn made. And I thought, oh, we need to update our materials again, But also we want to put, new examples in, and it never stands still. But I think one of the reasons why I'm so happy about the great uptake from our colleagues, we always have a full house every single year, because I've worked with the researcher community for so long on LinkedIn and helped people understand the power of it and use it really wisely and strategically, and then landing these unbelievable job opportunities. I mean, you know what I'm like, Rachel. I thought we need to bring LinkedIn here. And then you came, yes, and LinkedIn Learning, because LinkedIn Learning is so undervalued in many ways. And there is so much, not just courses that you can do. And I think they're now up to what, 23,000 or even more, so much choice. But also, there's some really good career management tools in LinkedIn Learning that people don't seem to be aware of. So our participants, they say, I've really got very strong foundations now, and I can use it, LinkedIn and LinkedIn Learning, for all the different aspects of my career, my professional development. And that's really what we're after, Rachel, isn't it?
Absolutely. We want them to utilize LinkedIn Learning all the time that they're at Leeds, and then, all that learning that they've done, those professional certificates, those just CPD learning, they can put it all on the LinkedIn profile. And if they do leave the university, they've still got to take with them. But yeah, it's such a valuable resource that, we are very lucky to have it. So we are, I've always any opportunity to promote it to people. But also, one thing that we often find is that people undervalue the skill set that they've got on their profile.
Yes.
And that's one of the things we have to keep saying. Don't just think of those technical skills. You should have at least 50. And, use LinkedIn Learning as, a mechanism to showcase those skills that you've got, because you've got those certificates to demonstrate them as well.
Absolutely. And if you're curious who these wonderful winners are of the 2024-25 cohort of Career Catalyst, we will put their links into the show notes, and we hope you enjoy their contributions. They were really excited that they can share a minute or two of their experience of doing the program, and it's been wonderful to get this positive feedback for them. Rachel and I, we will continue with this. It will be our 4th year. We're already starting to ask for expressions of interest. And what I think, yes, there is LinkedIn Learning, and seeing our participants really take, mastering the platform. But I think for me, what's also really special is the community we're building, and seeing people learning with each other, from each other, celebrating each other. And for me, that's what a positive collegiate research culture is all about. We're in this together. Let's support each other. And if we support each other, we're all better off at the end. So, Rachel, thank you so much for your time. And I always love working with you. We're so complimentary. Someone called us a dream team. And I think what a compliment. And I think participants really, they notice we're very enthusiastic. We want them to do well, and we rejoice with them when they have these breakthroughs that they never thought they could get, and we had some real big challenges on this year's program, from people who had to be very careful about showing their identity on LinkedIn. How do you manage LinkedIn when you have to be very careful about these things, but also people with very, very sensitive research topics. And I think together, we found some really good solutions. So I can wholeheartedly say, hands up, I learn every year.
Every year, yeah.
Every year, yes, we're LinkedIn experts, you and I, Rachel, but, it's wonderful. Also, so much to learn from our participants. And yeah, long may it last. And Rachel, thank you so much for your time. And
thank you.
Yeah, on to the 2025-26 cohort. Soon we'll be advertising again. Thank you so much, Rachel. Take care.
Thank you for having me.
And last but not least, we wanted to finish this episode with Julia Sandrin-Gower's voice note. Julia is a cardiovascular researcher supported by the British Heart Foundation. Julia uses LinkedIn not just to showcase her research and expertise, but also her very personal reasons for doing her research. Her video in the featured section is utterly compelling. Do visit her LinkedIn profile. And as promised, we will put the link to Julia's and everyone else's profiles into the show notes. Until next time, bye-bye.
I had heard from colleagues how powerful LinkedIn could be in terms of increasing visibility and building a professional network. So that's what attracted me to the Career Catalyst program. I had a LinkedIn profile when I started the program, but I never really used it. And to be honest, I was a bit apprehensive about posting on there and requesting connections, etc., compared to other social media platforms, because LinkedIn by nature is a professional platform, and that was a little bit scary to me. But the material that Ruth and Rachael put together was really great, very detailed and very approachable. They were both extremely supportive, as were the other participants of the course. And so I felt determined and confident to improve my profile, improve the way that I post things as well as what I post. And the impact that the program has had is really quite astonishing. So my profile views have increased by more than 10 times. I've been approached both on the platform and via email about collaborations, and I have substantially expanded my network as well. But perhaps most importantly, I feel very proud about the look of my profile, and I'm now confident about using the platform to continue developing and increasing my professional reach.
Thanks for listening to the Research Culture Uncovered podcast. Please subscribe so you never miss out on our brand new episodes. And if you're enjoying the discussions, give us some love by dropping a 5-star rating and written review, as it helps other research culturists find us. And please share with a friend and show them how to subscribe. Thanks for listening, and here's to you and your research culture.